All right, good evening. Glad you are with us. We'll be joined by Colonel John Mills tonight. We have a lot to talk about, including apparently the Biden regime is given the green light to arresting some Israeli officials. Isn't that interesting? Just as it's all breaking loose here in the United States of America. I'll bless those who bless you. I'll curse those who curse you. Very interesting also, some of the folks that opposed us over the years when we have stood up for the Jewish people, when we have stood against the Islamists, when we've stood against Jew-hating, Holocaust-denying, Hitler-defending, jihadi-preaching imams, when we have said you can't enter into interfaith dialogue with these guys, this is dangerous, God's going to judge you for this in this life or the next. Interesting, some of these people that were bemoaning Usama Dakdok, myself, Sharam Hadian, and others, as we exposed the Muslim Brotherhood, which gave birth to Hamas, I'm hearing that some of those folks right now are in dire health consequences. Well, we don't wish that upon them. Even the Bible says God does not rejoice in the destruction of the wicked. But ideas have consequences, and I find it quite ironic that when people defend Islam, Hamas, Muslim Brotherhood, and their proponents, and their Jew-hating, Holocaust-denying, Hitler-defending, jihadi-preaching imams, that things don't normally go too well for them. And some of them tonight, I'm sad to say, and I am, are suffering serious, serious health crisis. I have to ask, is this, again, Genesis? I'll bless those who bless you. I'll curse those who curse you. It's just a question. We'll leave that to God to answer later. But we are seeing also consequences in America. And again, apparently, this administration, the Obama administration, have been horrible to the Jewish people, and particularly maybe even greenlighting the idea of arresting some of them and dragging them to the International Criminal Court. And I find it, again, ironic, or maybe coincidental, whatever word you want to use, that it's all breaking loose here in America. Another bank seizure last Friday in Pennsylvania, riots breaking around the country, and certainly even now, we are getting footage coming in right now tonight, here we go, that the NYPD may be assembling to make a move there on Columbia University, where those students have seized the building. As we know, that's been going viral, reported it tonight at Worldview Report. And some of them have even put out a flag that said Intifada. I asked Annie tonight just to make sure, hey, Annie, does that mean like jihad or what? Yes, it can mean jihad, also revolution, also civil war. So again, who are these people behind this? Who are urging these young students, many of them who don't have a full understanding of what this is all about, certainly not enough to be doing this, and attacking Jews, trying to taser Jews, punching Jews, assaulting Jews, stopping them from going onto the college campuses? Again, this is smelling more and more like the 1930s. But I hate to tell you, I told you so. But 5-6 years ago, I produced two conferences, one at our National Ozarks Worldview Weekend entitled Holocaust Horizon, where we warned that this very thing was coming. And sadly, here we are. We'll also be joined tonight by Robert Spencer of jihadwatch.org. Annie Cyrus, Leo Holman will join us. Too many things that we're going to talk about to even mention, or we'll never get to them. And then Phil Lyman. We've interviewed him many times. He's running for governor in Utah, and he just got the endorsement well over 60% at the Republican GOP convention there in Utah on Saturday, beating out the uniparty candidate, Governor Cox, who apparently is all for the LGBTQ transgender agenda and using pronouns. We'll talk to Phil tonight as well. A lot to get to. Let's get right to it. Our first guest up is Colonel John Mills. He served in the military, and he served on the National Security Council staff for 2 presidents. He joins us tonight. Colonel, welcome back to the broadcast. Thanks for being here.
Hey, Brannon, thank you. Always an honor to be on this show. And yes, the Summer of Love 2024 has already started, and we are seeing it right now at Columbia University.
Indeed, we are. In fact, you even have an article about that. Here it is right now at the Gateway Pundit. Summer of Love 2024 violence makes an early appearance and is spreading fast. I believe this is only going to increase as we move into the summer months. What say you?
Oh, absolutely. The summer of 2020 was not an accident. That was a coordinated communist color revolution I think the difference this time is you have a far more robust Chinese special operations element on the ground, and we're getting reports that there is definitely visible Chinese component. That doesn't mean that Asians can't support Palestine, but this, believe me, that's not what is going on. These are the special operators that are converging. I break it down. Because there's actually been public reporting of this. Soros has been shown to be, he's paying the leaders of this group several $1,000s a month each to show up at just a few of the protests. So this is a funded, coordinated. This is a RICO operation, and that's what we should do: is apply RICO to this. What is going on? This is absolute racketeering. This is organized criminal activity. But it's Soros money. It's Palestinian Islamic extremist money, which is traditional and long-standing, also connected to Iran, which is connected to China. But then the third element, and I think you had Gordon Chang on, who's also, because initially when I was saying this, people go, oh, no, the Chinese have nothing to do with this. Oh, yes, they do. Yes, they do. There's no reason the funding can't come from multiple sources. But I think it was Robert O'Brien, Trump's national security advisor, made a very pointed comment when he just spoke at Rice University in the last few days in Houston. And there was a very, very robust Chinese contingent that looked like military age males. So they are on the ground. Especially Houston is the place where they had to shut down the consulate, because the Houston consulate was the center of gravity for a lot of Chinese domestic operations in America in 2020. Remember, they suddenly were burning all the documents inside. It caught on fire.
Yep.
That was the consulate in Houston. So yeah, it is crazy.
Well, take a look at this. Here's a gentleman. He's overriding my stream deck over here. Here is a gentleman named Tony, who was a reported NSA CIA whistleblower. Look what he's saying tonight. Remember all those criminal, illegal invaders we've been tracking from the caravans to our borders and into the interior of the U.S. today? Today, over 1,000 of the same devices are present at 21 protests and growing across America. Folks, I want you to let that sink in. We have these illegal invaders. They're here. This means, Colonel Mills, is very, very likely many of these people who are military-age males from Islamic nations, from CCP, Marxist nations, they're already infiltrating and getting into cells or into communities to then weaponize them, to turn them, as we just had on my friend Terry Turchie last night, former Deputy Director of the Counterterrorism Division of the FBI, saying he believes many of these young people, like was with the case with that Weather Underground back in the 60s and 70s, could be then groomed to become terrorists themselves. Well, maybe they're going to be trained by actual terrorist, illegal invaders who apparently are moving in with these guys. This is pretty startling information tonight, if true. And I have no reason to doubt this NSA CIA whistleblower.
Well, also you got the FBI director, Christopher Wray, DHS CISA director, General Hawk, the new NSA Cyber Command director, bouncing off the wall, talking about all alarms are going off simultaneously. Well, if they had not spent the last 4 years going after J6ers and school board parents, maybe we wouldn't be in this mess right now. But this is absolutely coordinated. The game is on, and they are trying to throw the election. This is all meant to throw the election and make sure Donald J. Trump does not get back in the White House. Well,
it is extremely dangerous, no doubt about it. Let me go to another issue, and that is this one right here. Farewell to China's Strategic Support Force. Let's meet its replacements. Tell me about this, please, coming from Defense One.
Yeah, this is a very important event, a reorganization. I have called this out a number of times. The Strategic Support Force, a not well understood part of the Chinese military, the People's Liberation Army. Now, traditionally, they were the ones who were doing space warfare, which, there was this concern that the Russians have put a nuke in space. The Russians have put a nuke in space. The Chinese have put 10 in space. I guarantee it. So the Strategic Support Force was in many ways like our Special Operations Command, yet with none of the legal bumper cushions. And so when I was down in Panama, I mean, all the Chinese special operators, the cartel production of fentanyl, the muscling in on legal cannabis, all of that, I think, links to this shadowy group called the Strategic Support Force. Well, it's now been reorganized. Why do they want it reorganized? Well, because they want it focused and delivering in 2024. So now it has an information operations element, which again, I would say probably the Chinese special operators come out of that element. And also those overseeing fentanyl production, but you also have a dedicated space warfare group, and a couple of other elements. So I guess she was not happy. Now the old General Ju, J-U, guess what? Boy, didn't see this one coming. Charged with corruption. You know, this is always what happens as Xi is pursuing and eliminating anybody he thinks he's a threat. So what did he do? He declared, just like they took care of the strategic rocket forces, just right, November, December. Now he's gutting and reorganizing the shadowy. Again, I would call us the Special Operations Command of China. And so he's he's arrested the leader and he's reorganized it. So he's getting ready for conflict. And so this is a shadowy group that is not well understood. And lo and behold, the commander is charged with corruption and it's reorganized.
All right. We're also getting a report tonight that the Biden administration may indeed be signing off on the arrest of some Israeli officials. You want to tell us about that, please?
Yeah, the International Court in The Hague, I spent a year in Bosnia in 97 helping to track down and deliver Radovan Karadzic, Mlatko, some really bad folks. It is shameful that we, on one hand, would be essentially orchestrating the defense of Israel, which happened, a couple of Saturday nights ago, the brilliant defense of Israel. But then we're playing this game and sicking the international court on the Israelis. That's what's going on here. And this is purely to appease the air quote Palestinian movement that is outraged and, like in Michigan, didn't come out and vote in the primary. This is purely so they never liked Netanyahu, and now what they're essentially doing is saying they're going to hand him over or elements of the Netanyahu's government to the international court. Absolutely sick, duplicitous, and one more reason we need to run Uncle Joe out of office in November. So some reports are tonight that they're not going to do that. But here it is. I wanted to show it. ICC mulling Israeli arrest warrants with U.S. consent. So there's conflicting reports tonight. Some saying, the Biden regime will not agree to this. They're not going to sign off on it. Well, do not hold your breath on that. I mean, how many things have they told us and lied to us? Jake Sullivan is orchestrating this right now, the National Security Advisor, Jake the Snake Sullivan, who is just can't be trusted with a box of tissues. That guy is just an absolute, no moral starting point. All he wants to do is lie, cheat, and steal to win. And he was part of the Russia hoax. He orchestrated the Russia hoax, and now, here he is daring to support arrest warrants for Israeli leadership. This is absolutely sick.
Indeed it is. We've got to run. We have so much to get to tonight. The book is called War Against the Deep State. WarAgainstTheDeepState.com is the website. WarAgainstTheDeepState.com. And you can also get a copy at mystore.com. That's Mike Lindell's store for entrepreneurs, mystore.com. Be sure to use the promo code B66 to get a savings, and this broadcast will get some credit. WarAgainstTheDeepState.com or mystore.com. Thank you so much, Colonel.
Thank you, Brannon. An action-packed night.
Yeah,
ladies and gentlemen, we need God more than ever. So
indeed we do.
Pray and put feet to your prayers.
Indeed we do. And we're also we also want to remind folks that you have a daily show that we produce over at worldviewtube.com, worldviewtube.com, and then I brought it over to patriot.tv as well. So be sure to catch his 30-minute daily show on both those networks, correct?
Yeah, should be Navy Week. We have 2 Navy captains, James Fennell, Kimo Fennell, one of my colleagues on the Committee on Present Danger China, and also Captain Sadler from the Heritage Foundation. So should be great Navy Week between both of these Navy captains. That's what's appearing this week.
Absolutely. Thank you, Colonel.
Thank you, Brannon.